Hello, everyone. I hope this finds you well. And we are hopping into our weekly reading for this week. I'd like you to pick a number between 1 and 4, as always, to see where you land for your most focused point of the week. Remembering that this is a collective reading. So if you find yourself listening to this reading, there is something in it for you. And if you find it outside of this week, there is something in it for you. So just really trusting that. But for those of you who do find it within the week, we are between the new moon of last week and the full moon of next week, and we are just getting ourselves used to having Saturn in a new sign and Pluto in a new sign. So there's like a lot of rumbling of trying to settle these new energies and frequencies within us. And one of the things that's interesting happening this week is, you may remember at the very end of last week, we finally had Mars moving out of Gemini, where he'd spent 8 or 9 months, into Cancer. Not his favorite place to be, but I think after such a long trip in Gemini, it's a relief to all of us. And we also have had all these other big planetary moves. So this week we'll find Mars making a happy connection to Saturn. Now these two are known as the malefics. They're two of the planets that bring us some big shifts and change and lessons. And they're having a good conversation with each other, which is almost like a positive opportunity for us to take some of our harder things and reconstruct them into some positive narrative, or learn in an easier way than sometimes we can. So with that in mind, picking your number, let's jump into the reading and you can have a look at the big picture. And we start with an upside down, 2 of Wands, which for me is really saying we are struggling with the turning point. We're struggling with the decision making. It's like, what was working before or what wasn't working before? How do we make that new, and how's it going to look in the future? And we're kind of on that like precipice of, I know I don't necessarily want what I've had or want to keep doing what I've been doing, but I don't really know what the next thing is or how to make that work, and kind of feeling a little bit stuck and unable to actually action the changes. And I think that this is something that we as a collective have to kind of accept, that we are in murky waters, because everything is very new at the moment and the world is changing, and it's changing at a rather accelerated rate. But when we're living through it, we cannot really see. It's like at the beginning and middle of the French Revolution, they couldn't have understood what that was going to look like by the end of the French Revolution, or any of the world wars, or any big things, big changes and revolutions. You didn't really know which way it was going to go. You didn't know how things would look. And that's pretty much what we're living through right now. So it's okay to feel a little bit sort of stuck in how to choose the next step. But if this is where you are, you need to take some time to evaluate, how do I find that action again? Because Wands is a fire card. It is where we're supposed to have creativity and action happening. And with the 2, sometimes it's like, oof, I don't know how to do it, especially when it's obviously upside down. Then our next card is the Queen of Swords. And what I love about this, following this kind of stuck, indecisive type of energy of the upside down 2 of Wands, is that she is very well thought out. Her decisions, her planning, her thinking, her internal narrative, she gets the information and she makes decisions based on sensible information and learning, not just kind of fly by the seat of your pants kind of decision making. She's very wise, especially in her upright form. And as I've said about this before, you can see the little cup in the cage here. That just indicates that she has got emotional capacity, but she's not ruled by her emotions. She's ruled by her thinking, in the sense of, I'm not going to let my emotional connection to something or my emotional response to something cloud my judgment. That's something she doesn't do, well, certainly not upright. She doesn't do that easily. She has clear vision, clear understanding, clear decision. And remembering that swords tend to be double-edged. So, she can cut away some of the pros, and if needs be, she can cut away some of the cons. And this is really helpful for gaining that clarity that we're all kind of trying to gain with how do we live our best life in a future we can't yet see, in this some kind of utopian thing that we have no frame of reference for it. So how do I get there? Well, she gets to vision it, gets to imagine it, gets to bring it into reality because of her clear thinking and going, this is what I'm going to start doing. This is what I'm going to follow through with. This is what I'm going to stop doing. And then it actually takes us in the direction of where we need to go. So she's pretty handy in that sense. The Three of Pentacles is a really great community card. It's about leaning into others. It's very Aquarian. We've got Pluto and Aquarius, right? So Aquarius is also the Queen of Swords, does represent the air signs and the feminine principle of the air signs. So doing things in a way that is not just straight line, more masculine straight line. It's like I can spiral with this. I can swirl. I can recognize the different air currents and air waves, and that is my creative process, and that is my way of getting things done. It might not be a straight line, but it's still the way of getting things done, which is more feminine. And Three of Pentacles going, and also I can't do that alone. I also need community. I also need to lean into the places that are safe and finding communities. Aquarius is very much about the group and the hive mind and the collective, and this is an opportunity for us to go, okay, what do I need and who can support me in that? Or what can I do to support my family or my friends or my children or whatever it is, so that you can also look where you can be part of that Three of Pentacles community for others, not just seeking out Three of Pentacles communities for yourself. But in the end, Pentacles is really lovely kind of in the story, because we're sort of in a creative sticky spot with the two, going, I don't know how to do what I need to do to get where I want to go. And then the Queen goes, well, let's sit with it. Let's think about it. And let's get clear on the vision. And then the Three of Pentacles is like, let's start being practical. Let's start making the things we need to make. Let's start weaving the dreams into a reality. Let's start building those community gardens. Let's start building a business, whatever the thing is that is going to bring us to a better future. Let's start actually doing that. So I really feel like those three are telling us kind of clear steps, like look at where the creativity is blocked, look at where you're in your Two of Swords, and then how do you start to think your way out of it and act your way out of it. And then we have the Magician at the end, also not in the right direction at this point. So this kind of brings us back to the collective in some senses because remember, major arcana are oftentimes the bigger picture. It's also the archetypal hero's journey, or Fool starts with the Fool. So, and the Fool is 0 card and the Magician is 1. So we're right at the beginning of a journey here. And we're a little bit upside down with it, because how my Fool's turned hero's journey might have looked 5 years ago is not how it's got to look now. So now I don't have a frame of reference, same as I said earlier for the Two of Wands. I don't have a frame of reference of how to go on this journey. I'm completely in the dark. I could have read books, I could have listened to other people's stories, I could have understood through those things a little bit of how, get an inkling of how my own journey might have looked. But now we're all in new territory. The whole collective doesn't know. We don't know what we're building. So how do I get okay with that? Because the Magician is an alchemist. He's about taking energy down from above and bringing it into reality, and bringing energy down from below up into the heavens, the cosmos, the collective. So it's very, when he's upside down, it's like, I don't know where to send the energy and where to receive the energy. I don't know how to mix the energy to create balance, to create gold from lead. I don't know what the new lead is and what the new gold is. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm feeling a little confused and overwhelmed. And so I feel like that's just coming back to, okay, so let's break it down into practical. Let's break it down into the elements. Let's break it down into what small steps can I do in my day-to-day life, which these cards spoke to us of. And when the big picture starts to feel overwhelming, and when I don't know if I have the tools, I have the skills, I have the energy, I have the money, I have the whatever, insert your own word, then I just need to remember, okay, this is a big picture thing. This is a big part of my archetypal journey, hero's journey of development in my soul's evolution. I'm overwhelmed, but look, we're all overwhelmed. Okay, let's bring it back and we start again. Let me just look at, where am I feeling creatively stuck? Where am I not sure how to come from my past and move towards my future? Let's get in our heads about that. Let's think about it not in a linear form, not in a masculine think straight in a straight line. Let me sit with it. Let it swirl. Let me feel what emotions rise up, but not make my decisions around those emotions. Let me find the right people to work with, the right community for me to step forward and take practical steps. And then we find ourselves back here again. So you can see this week is like taking us in quite a spiraling way of getting overwhelmed with the big picture and then coming back to the practical steps and up and down and ebb and flow. And actually, I feel like that's really exactly where we need to be at the moment. It's a week of processing between big things. And I've been finding in our readings that the weeks between the big weeks are sometimes the bigger weeks, because this is where we're integrating. This is where we're bringing it all into reality for ourselves at any given time. So, good luck. I hope this has been helpful for you. And remember that if you're wanting your extra personal guidance, that I do personal readings, and I do astrology readings. I do healing sessions virtually and in person for those who are nearby me. There are many things that I offer that can help you. Or again, look for the parts of your community that support you. And maybe that is your local healer, coach, reader, whatever that may be. Lean into the spaces, because otherwise this overwhelm is going to stay out of balance. For right now, we're kind of all out of balance, and we have to feel the imbalance to recognize we want to get into balance. And the word balance is coming up very strongly. Guess what next week's full moon is? Libra. So get ready to rumble. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this has been helpful. Thank you for all your likes, follows, subscribes, comments. I appreciate them all.